to this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through the industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Mike Swenson. He's the founder of REL Freedom, and he is helping people achieve time and financial freedom through real estate. Welcome to the show, Mike.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Wonderful, wonderful. And what we are going to talk today is something very, very interesting. And a lot of people, always desire to have that freedom of time, financial freedom, all these things. And you say that it is very much possible through real estate. So let me understand from you. You are saying this because you are in real estate, or you actually feel it? Because if I understand, you yourself went accidentally, became an accidental landlord back in 2010. So help us understand exactly how it can work for a layperson.
Yeah. So when I got out of college, I majored in finance, and so I had gotten a job, and my wife and I bought our first property. And I was so excited because we had bought it for a little bit less than what the previous owners had bought it for. This was 2006. And then the real estate market crashed, and it got to the point where the value of our property was half what we had bought it for. And so I had to make a decision, what am I going to do? People around me were getting out of their homes. They were doing short sale and foreclosure because they couldn't afford to live there anymore. The value had gotten so low. And so I said, either we're going to stay there ourselves, or we're going to find a way to turn this into a rental property. And so I had reached out to a lender that I knew, and I said, how would it work if we were to rent this out? Is it something where we could still qualify to purchase another property? And so I was curious to learn. I was okay to ask questions. I was okay to feel dumb that I didn't know the answers. And so I got some answers, and I started to put it together, and I saw it would work to be able to purchase another property, still own this property and rent it out and qualify for a loan. And then I figured, okay, I got to find somebody that wants to live there. So my wife ended up talking to a coworker that was looking for a place to rent, and we had that lined up, and then we were able to kind of make that move. And so that was a property where, like I said, the value had gotten down to half of what we bought it for. We ended up holding it until just January of 2022. We sold it. We had a handful of renters in there over that time, and we sold it, for a profit, and we were able to pay down the mortgage. And that was really our first start into investing in real estate. But what I learned is, anybody can do it. A lot of times what holds people up is they just think, oh, that's just for large investors. They do their own thing. I don't have enough money. I don't know enough about it. And they use that as a reason to not try to learn more and pursue that. And so I was curious. I asked questions. Like I said, I was okay feeling dumb, not knowing what I was doing. And then that helped me to learn and get answers. And I've just kind of continuing to do that. And then I got into real estate full-time in 2024. And then now I work on a team that specializes in helping people invest in real estate.
Absolutely. So an accidental entry helped you make real estate almost like your home, and now you are comfortable in it. But why do you still think that this is one which can help people gain financial freedom, financial independence, and not something else? Is it easy to learn? How does someone get started in this line? You learned your way. How can they learn in a much more simpler way, not getting accidentally, but by choice? How do you like to put it for them?
Yeah, I would encourage people to talk to people that have done it before, people like myself that have experience, because I think you can learn so much more by talking to somebody that's done it. You can go try to find, there's a lot of great podcasts and YouTube videos and articles that you can read. But being able to talk to somebody that's done it before They can help answer some of the questions that you have, and so help you to learn and to be able to apply some of these things is really beneficial. So what I think happens a lot of times, a topic like investing in real estate, somebody could just spend the next year watching videos, learning, and then they don't take action or they don't try to take some steps forward to do it. So I think you'll get more confidence in trying to do something when you talk to other people that have done it before, and they can help you to be able to connect to that. So I would say talk to people who have done it. And then there's so many different things that you can do in real estate investing. A lot of times what holds people up is they see there's so many different options. I could invest in, single family properties, multifamily properties. I could do short-term rentals that are very popular. I could do storage units. I could do mobile home parks. I could do all these different things. And so people tend to overanalyze it and then don't take any action. And so figure out something that excites you, something that interests you, and go learn more about that. Talk to people that are already doing that, and then they can help make introductions to lenders and property managers and other things that can help you with your learning curve.
Right, right. So let's look at it from two sides. One is somebody based in the US, and one who is listening to you in India, anywhere else, and wants to get started into real estate investing. A few things will be different, but the learnings by and large would almost be the same. Regulations will be different in terms of getting investment, and all those areas will be different. But for a simple person, but the one thing that will remain the same is that everybody wants to have financial freedom. They want to have time in their hands. In your case, like, what would you like to tell people in terms of, does it require a lot of money to start into real estate? How does that work? Will you, where do you start getting that money, whatever amount it is? What would you like to say?
Yeah, so what I encourage people is think about where you're at today. So if you own a property, maybe there's a way that you could rent out a room, right? If you already have a property, you could rent out a room. If you know of somebody that's looking to rent out their property, they have what's called Airbnb or short-term rental arbitrage, where a landlord might say, hey, I'm looking out to rent out a property at this price. And you go run numbers and you realize, hey, if I did this as a short-term rental, I could rent it out for a little bit more and make money off of that. I don't have to own that property. I just have to find somebody that's willing to lease me that property at a certain price. And then I find a way to add value, rent it out for more, and I could make that money in between. And then the other thing that I tell people is you can find people to partner with as well. So if I have a small amount of money, I could maybe partner with somebody that is doing something larger, and my money can be helpful as a way to just get started. Because I think for a lot of people, yeah, you may not be able to afford your own property, or you may not be able to afford a multifamily property yourself. So go find somebody, a friend, a family member, somebody that's in the industry, and say, hey, I really want to learn. How can I get started? And they might offer an opportunity for you to get in at a low bar where, yeah, you may not buy your own property, but you might be able to buy part of that property with somebody. And then that gets you experience. And that's the key is, I've been doing this since 2010. I've learned a lot of things because I've done it. And so there's times where I haven't made money and there's times that I have, but I've also learned a lot over that time, and the different properties that I've had, the different challenges, how to overcome things, overcome those challenges. I've learned a lot. And so I also tell people that real estate is an education. It's going to take time to learn those things. So getting started where you're actually in something will help you to learn those lessons. And so find a way to, partner with somebody, or to find a way to do it yourself. Maybe you don't have to purchase your own property. Maybe like it's just that rent by the room or something. but find a way to get started. And the way you can do that is, once again, kind of go ask people that have already done it and say, hey, here's my situation. How do I get started? And they can help you with that.
Right, right. So, how do one scale up from there, and what do you need for that? Because we are some people may think, okay, it is something good for passive income. Okay, that is fine. But can you be passively invested in this sector, or do you need to be fully invested in terms of your time and energy? How does that work? And then in terms of scaling up, how can you do it? How much of time will it require? Does it require full time? What resources would you need to actually make some good money into this, so that you can actually plan your life better in terms of gaining enough financial and time independence for you and your family? How does that work?
Yeah, so there's a cool concept called real estate syndication, where it's essentially you're using the experience of experienced investors or experienced people in real estate, and you can be 100% passive in these investments. So I think a lot of times people, when they get started themselves, they feel like it's going to take all my time, but you can find a real estate syndication where somebody like myself identifies an opportunity. We say, hey, here's the property, here's what we think we can do with the property, and here's the expected returns. And then you put your money into a deal like that, and we execute on that. And because a real estate syndication is set up in a way where you have a general partner, which is somebody who's actively managing it, and then you have a limited partner, somebody who's passively managing it. That limited partner literally just kind of says, here's my money, I trust you, and then we keep you updated on the progress. And then at the end of the time, you get cash flow distributions throughout that process. Or it might be, we give you the money back, after we sell the property, the money back plus the profit after we fixed it up. So there's ways where you can be completely passive starting. Or once again, you asked about scaling. It starts with, like I said, find a way to get into a deal at the beginning, and then maybe the next property, you're a little bit larger of a chunk in that deal. So you could, when that first property sells, you take that money and you put a little bit more into the next one. And then the cool thing about real estate is, over time, real estate tends to appreciate. So the money that you've put into the deal, as properties appreciate, now it can sell for more. And so you'll probably sell it at a time when you can sell for more. So now you've gotten your piece that you've put in, what the property has appreciated over time. As people are maybe paying rents, the mortgage, the loan is going down. And then there's tax benefits as well. So there's all these different little ways that you can make money through investing in real estate. And so it's, just the time that you spend in it, it will eventually grow. And so, yeah, you don't need a lot of time to start, but you learn these things after you've gotten started. So I think that's where I keep going back to, find a way to get started in something, and that will grow.
Absolutely, absolutely. And for scaling, if you are doing it yourself, you need a good team for you. How do you build a good team for yourself? You are doing it yourself. You are the founder and CEO of Elite Advantage Team, an investor-focused real estate team serving Minnesota and other places that But the basic idea about, again, building the team remains the same, whether it's in one US state or another US state or anywhere else in the world, including India. How do one do that?
Yeah, so I would say I don't do it myself, because I have other great people that I've worked with. So typically for real estate, what you're looking for is, you're looking for somebody that can help find the properties, maybe find these good deals. And so if that's not something that you're in a spot where you can recognize what a good deal is, you're still new and figuring it out, finding somebody like myself that can help identify those properties is really helpful. So you want to find somebody to identify those properties. Then you've got kind of the lending side, who's going to put up the money for that property, whether it's a bank, whether it's another investor. And it can be multiple people, right? It might be an investor's putting up part of it, and then part of it's coming through a bank. So you want to find lenders that could potentially invest in that. And then the other thing is the management of the asset. So that's a piece where I don't want to do that. I want property managers, because that's what they do really well. They know how to find tenants, repair the building, manage the tenants, and all that stuff. So I want to partner with people that can manage that really well. And so really you're looking for those main people. Find the deal, find the people that can put up the money for the deal, and then find the people that can help manage that property. And then that's a really good start. And it might be, it takes time to find those relationships, right? Like I don't just meet somebody and they become my best friend. It takes time to build a friendship. So it's kind of the same way with these business relationships. It takes time. So you've got to talk to a lot of people, find out who's somebody that can do that. Are they knowledgeable? Are they capable? Do they fit with my personality? And so you're just talking to those different people to see, is this somebody that I think I want to work with? And sometimes it doesn't always work out, and then you go find somebody else too. And so it's kind of a fluid situation, but you want to talk to many different people to find those people, just like you're finding your friends. You talk to a lot of people. Some people you work better with and they become your friends, and some people don't and they don't become your friends. And so you're just constantly meeting new people, building new relationships to figure out what's going to help.
Absolutely. But with every opportunity, there also comes risks. What are the risks involved into this particular line in this whole journey towards financial freedom through real estate? What would you like to share about that part?
Yeah, so you're right. There's risks that are out there because I can make money, because there's a lot of great things that can happen. It has to come at some sort of cost, and that cost is the risk. Now, the more you work with this is where I came back to talking about, real estate education being important and being in the industry to learn these things. You can lower those risks, but the reality is yeah, I can buy a property. Let's just say I want to buy a property, fix it up and sell it. Well, I buy it for a price that I think I can make money at. I go to fix it up and there's repairs that I didn't plan for, or what I budgeted for the repairs turns out to be more expensive, or I sell it for not as much as I thought that I could sell it for. And we had a property like that where we had ran numbers and we thought, okay, this is what we'll buy it for, this is what we'll spend to fix it up, and this is what we'll sell it for. And what happened was the fixing it up cost more money, and there were things that we didn't plan for, and we didn't have enough margin there. So we ended up, we didn't lose money, but we kind of broke even on that particular deal. And so I think the risk is, yeah, you can lose money if you don't run calculations correctly. And it takes time to learn that too. And then too, when you're working with, tenants, there's times where, tenants don't pay the rent. And so that's where you have to plan for a margin in your business. I run all my numbers. I think that my numbers are good. And then I have another margin there just in case, right? Just in case something happens that I don't plan for. And so you want to be able to plan for that. But in terms of real estate, over time, since real estate tends to go up, I may not be able to sell the property next year for what I thought I could. So maybe it's another year or another 2 years later that I can sell it for. But that's where we talk with people about having a good exit strategy. What if things went wrong? How do we minimize our potential losses? So yeah, the risks are out there. You can lose money. You can, trust people that don't do what they say they're going to do, and then it costs you more money, or you have people that don't pay. You can't sell it for what you think it's for. But the benefit on the other side is the financial upside. And so you have to be willing to kind of take those risks to get the potential reward.
Absolutely. Well explained, Mike. And then where does podcasting come in between? You are a top host of this big REL Freedom Podcast. So how does it help in your real estate business? What would you like to tell potential, who are potential people who are entering into this line as to whether a podcast is necessary or they can actually leverage it to make it a better journey into real estate? How are you using it in terms of already educating a lot of people on this, but how is it also helping you in the type of work that you do at the moment?
So like you mentioned, my podcast, it's REL Freedom. So it stands for Real Estate Leverage Freedom, REL Freedom. But all those things that I've talked to you about, meeting people, networking with people, building relationships with people, that's what my podcast is for. Is I meet people, I have them on the show. When I have them on the show, for some people it works better, right? We talk a little bit more, we communicate a little bit more. I might ask people, hey, who else do you know that's doing this, or who else do you know that's doing that? So all the networking that I've been talking about, the importance of helping me in my real estate career, a lot of it comes through the podcast, because I'm meeting people, and then too, I'm a guest on podcasts, so I meet other people like yourself, because there might be opportunities for us to work in the future, to connect in the future. You might know people that would be helpful for me. I might know people that would be helpful for you. So for me, the podcast is just a way to be able to meet more people, and it's an opportunity. And then on my show, it's a way for me to highlight those people, right? If there's somebody that's got a great story to share, I want to say, hey, how can I help add value to you? Hey, you can be a guest on my podcast. And so I think that's a great way for networking, is to have that opportunity to let somebody share their story. And then you never know what's going to happen. Yeah, a lot of people that we have on the show, or a lot of podcasts that I'm on, maybe there's not a direct way we can work together today, but you never know what the future is going to be 3, 5, 10 years down the road. And so these are all great relationships to build for the future.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, how can people know more about your podcast? How they can listen to it? Secondly, how they can connect with you and know more about this industry? This is just say 20, 25 minutes of an episode, but more will obviously come from you directly. So, how can they connect with you? How can your potential customers
Yeah. So
connect with you directly?
so my website is REL Freedom. So freedom, FREEDOM. So RELfreedom.com. And that's where we post our podcast episodes. I also have education on there in terms of how to get started investing in real estate. I have deal calculators where if you want to start to learn how to run numbers on properties, you can do that. And then I also run a mastermind group. I have a membership group where if you want to learn how to learn the basics of investing, you can, partake in this membership group that I have. And then I have an agent mastermind for real estate agents that work with investors and want to be investors themselves. Once again, talking about building relationships with people. So you can find that on my website. The agent mastermind, I've made a URL just to make it easier to remember, which is agentinvestormastermind.com. But that eventually points you to my REL Freedom website, relfreedom.com. So go there, reach out to me. I love having conversations, just being able to help people get started, because I know that's what trips a lot of people up is my situation's different. How do I get started? And so I want to be able to help people like you that are in that spot know, how do I get started? Well, let's talk about that a little bit. What are you trying to do? What are the goals that you're trying to set? And then I just want to be a connector to help point you to the right people to help you in your journey to get started with investing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My last question to you, Mike, is that 2008, when you talk about the real estate, you also think about 2008 and that whole situation down there at that point in time. You are very young and you need to make that journey into the future very solidly. Do you ever think about that such a situation can occur in a different form in the years to come or at any point in time? It's a global world. We just don't know what can happen. Anything can just come out. So, how have you planned yourself for any difficult situation in the line that you are in? Have you de-risked yourself in terms of putting your money everywhere else, anywhere else, or how does it work? Do you just put all your eggs in the one basket itself?
Yeah, so I look at my real estate business as well as I'm investing in my business. So even though I'm in the industry of real estate, like my podcast, right? I'm investing in myself. I'm investing in my education. I'm investing in the partnerships that I'm building with other agents on my team, and then other teams that I'm, connecting with in the future. So I'm investing in my business that happens to be in the real estate industry as well. And then, yeah, my wife and I have other investments. She has a 401k plan with her employer that we've invested in. And then we also have our rental properties. And so there's other things that I'm investing in, but I also know one of the greatest investments you can make is in yourself. And so, pouring money back into the podcast, into the business, will provide more opportunities in the future. It may not be investing in real estate, but it could be career opportunities, opportunities to expand what we're doing in different areas. And so I think there's value in that as well. Investing in my own education, investing in my own business to be able to grow that too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have put it very well. And nothing can be better investment than investing in your education, because it will be with you forever. And you can always do one thing or another, even if anything happens with whatever you are doing at the moment. Wonderful. I like it. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. I appreciated sharing, and just thank you for the opportunity, and love what you're doing, getting messages out there of how people can invest in themselves and learn different things. So thank you to you for what you're doing.
Thank you.